The Chicago Bears have a chance to draft just an athletic stud at the safety position in this year's NFL draft. And the best thing about it, our guy can be had as late as the 4th or 5th round. And we've experienced what happens when you have a great one, right? It's like the ultimate chess piece. From Mike Brown to Eddie Jackson recently, we've just been a bit spoiled, but now we have a place to fill with Eddie Jackson departing the team. And I want to go through some players available that we can look at more closely as the combine gets underway so we can watch the workouts with purpose and see if one of these guys are the ones that we want to draft. So let's look at this. What does this draft have to offer? I'm going to look at some draft profiles from BNB Football and also reference a recent PFF mock draft, 7 rounds. That is just fantastic. So check that out if you could. Excuse me. So what does this class have to offer? Let's first look at the premium option. And that's this guy. It's unquestioned. It's Tyler Nubin out of Minnesota. And Nubin, he seems to be the unquestioned best safety available, but it's going to take us trading either our number 1 or our number 9 draft pick in a scenario to get the draft capital to make this happen. This recent PFF mock, Rubin, he's slated to go in the early 2nd or even creep into the bottom of the 1st. If he drops to the 2nd, I could see us moving on him. Once again, a trade scenario is necessary. I'm fully aware we don't presently have a presence in the 2nd round, so bear with me here. So let's take a look at who he is as a player. This year, Tyler Nubin, he broke Minnesota's all-time school record for interceptions in a career. He logged 5 in a campaign that earned him first team all Big Ten honors. And this guy just has tons of NFL quality film and generating turnovers. That's what this guy does. He has great size. He has great length, 6'2", 205 pounds. And in all phases of the game, he's just a high motor guy, polished in both phases of the job. And with that being said, scouts, they list his best trait as his football IQ and just a really intelligent player. So instincts, angle awareness, field vision, and the ability to adapt quickly to the speed of the pro game. He's actually ready to plug and play as a starter immediately. That's the book on him. But there's always a knock, right? There's always a negative. This might be quibbling, but his long speed, his range, it's not off the charts. But hey, he has the traits to plug right into the Flus defense, the physicality he plays with, plus his mental ability. I'd absolutely love for him to join us here at Hallis Hall. The ideal get at safety to work with. Our boy Brisker on the back end, just a great get, but this is a premium pickup and it's going to require a premium draft choice. So let's keep going. The next player is Cameron Kinchens. That's out of Miami. PFF has him going mid-2nd or even dropping to the 3rd round. And if we could grab him there, I think it's an absolute bargain. Kinchens, he defines the term ball hawk. Let's look at the stats. In 2022, 6 picks, and last year, 5 more. He also added 59 tackles with 2.5 for a loss. He could be called a high caliber center fielder, not to mix sports, but his skill set, it's a bit rare for the safety position. His size, it's also a great fit in our defense. 5'11" and 202. I mean, still a bit smaller than Nubin, but he's an absolutely sure tackler. He might drop a bit because the knock on him, he's unpolished in zone awareness and run support. But man, when this guy is on, he is absolutely unmatched in deep coverage. If he drops a bit, he might be the absolute best option here. Let me get rid of this story. And next we have a different player, Kalen Bullock out of USC. And this guy has some size. We're talking 6'3", 180 pounds. And this comes with just ideal ball skills as he's a former wideout. He has an athletic profile. It's going to allow him to succeed. And the guy just plays with high energy, elite deep speed, great range. His tape shows him track throws and erase space so quickly, closing in on the ball. This guy has coverage chops. He should go after Kinchens in the draft due to the knock on him. He really needs to improve in run support. That's a main knock. And also, he's only 180 pounds. He needs to add more weight, and his tackling, it's a bit inconsistent still. So the book on him is a little more serious, and that's why he's going to drop below Kinchens in the draft. But he has perhaps the highest playmaking upside in coverage. He needs some coaching up, but with our coaching staff, I am fully assured that we would be able to do it. His high watermark is being, I think, in the third round. So this is a guy that we can get for reasonable draft capital and run support. This is where Bullock, he stands to improve, like I said. So really still a good player, but I would like to move on to the next player. We have a player who projects into the third, and that's Jaden Hicks out of Washington State. You guys know the Bears. We absolutely love a safety that attacks the box, and there aren't many better options in 2024 than Jaden Hicks. Over the past 2 seasons at Washington State, let's check this out. 6'3", 205 pounds. He amassed 155 tackles, 8 TFLs, 3.5 sacks, 3 picks, and 10 pass breakups. By TFLs, that's 8 tackles for a loss. Sorry, I used the abbreviation there. He's not the most fluid space manager at the intermediate and deep levels, but Hicks, he shines when he's able to crash downhill and attack the runners. He explodes. He is explosive across pursuit paths. He can cut off paths upfield, and his range and support, it allows him to halt positive plays. He's just a solid player in Hicks. He is a really good choice, but the real guy that I want to talk about, the real value in this draft at safety, that's Cole Bishop out of Utah. And this guy projects in the 4th round at the highest. I'm just really intrigued by him. So let's chop it up. This is why. It's a school that he goes to. Utah is always one of the best coached teams in the nation. For a lower profile school, they just keep churning out year after year after year draft production. And Bishop, I think he's our guy here. Cole Bishop is one of their best defensive prospects in recent memory, and he's ascending as one of the biggest steals in this draft. And from day one at Utah, he's been a cornerstone. In 2022, he had 83 tackles, 6 for a loss, 1.5 sacks, a pick, 3 pass deflections. But he kept it going this past year in 2023 with 6.5 tackles for a loss. I absolutely love that. That means this guy has range and he can also play the run. 2 more picks and 4 pass breakups. He looks complete as well, even his size, 6'2", 205. That is really, really good. And he also plays with discipline and coverage. And that's something that's not always there. He can protect over the top. He also uses great angles to cut up players off. I looked at some tape, and the way that he pursues ball carriers is fantastic. His angles are fantastic. He fights through blocks really well as well, and he plays with a chip on his shoulder. I mean, tackles hard. He has a little bit of a mean streak. I think he's a prototypical Bears player, and I think he's the best value in this whole draft at safety. So if we have the right trade situation and the draft capital, I would absolutely love Nubin as our guy. He has the most flash, but for the investment, give me Cole Bishop all day long. And if I'm polls, he's a must draft to fill the empty spot filled by Eddie Jackson. And we can also, as we move through the combine, we get closer to free agency. We can also talk about some free agent options at safety that would be a really good fit. But if we can get this guy like Bishop in the 4th or 5th round, that draft capital investment, and plus how complete this player is, I think he's a can't miss. And I kind of hesitate to use the higher draft capital for Nubin, but you know, you never know. You never know what a draft pick trade in the 1st round would yield as far as capital there. So maybe there's enough, but Bishop all day. You guys, thanks for watching. I love and appreciate each of you, and thanks so much. It's such a great Bears off season, and it is so good to be us Bear down, and we'll talk soon. See ya.